Welcome back for another video. If you saw my first draft, it had Salah over Haaland, but it'd be daft not to try and build the best possible team of Haaland as the premium and then compare them. They're both very close. At the end of this video, I'll pull up the Salah team again and we can compare, and save you hopping videos. In Liverpool's first pre-season friendly, behind closed doors, they actually lost 1-0 to Preston North End in the Championship. Salah, Szoboszlai, Jones, Endo and Elliott were all among those involved, but it was still a youth pack team, so no cause for panic just yet. We're going to react to some transfer news in this video as well, and I've got a possible gem to share. In fact, there's some injury news to react to as well. JOÁO Pedro's trip to Japan for Brighton's pre-season tour's been cancelled. It's rumoured to be a rib injury, so he stayed home for rehab. Rib injuries can take ages to heal, though he might have sustained it early in the summer for all we know. So there's still every chance he's fit for Gameweek 1, but let's entertain a Haaland draft without JOÁO Pedro as well, which seems to have been a very common pairing, and you're probably sick of seeing JOÁO Pedro's name everywhere as well. So let's start off in goal, which is Henderson. I really rate the Palace 4.5 mil options, Henderson and Anderson. I've got a great stat for you here. Glasner took over Palace from Gameweek 26 last season, and from then till the end of the season, Palace were 4th best for expected goals conceded after Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool. Rock bottom was Man United, by the way. Palace kept 5 clean sheets after he took over, 3rd best. 14 goals conceded and 45.4 minutes per big chance conceded was also 3rd best. Henderson was the one that played at the end of last season. If Johnson's looking like he's the number 1, then it's an easy switch for the same price. By the way, did anyone see they priced Muric at 4.3 mil by mistake? It's the first time they've ever given someone a price not a multiple of 0.5 mil. They have since fixed it though, so you can't get Muric on discount. Some were actually wondering if they'd bank 0.1 mil profit if they changed him to 4.5 mil, which would have been quite controversial. Fortunately, it's all sorted and no one benefits from a price rise before Gameweek 1. Onto the defence, which is Mykolenko, Vardiol. And then in yesterday's videos, lots of you were asking about JOÁO, Man United's new signing, so I've done some research on the lad. He's already in training for them. He's still only 18, but he's regarded as one of the most promising young defenders in world football. He plays with a bit of maturity and technical ability. He's a massive player as well, 6'3", but rapid. Only 3 defenders had a better pass completion in Ligue 1 last season, and those are all PSG defenders. 69% tackle success rate, only bettered by 6 centre-backs. If you've been following the transfer window, Man United aren't done with new signings to improve them yet either. They're reportedly in for Ugarte, who's a defensive mid. With everything considered, he's not for me at the moment, just in case Ten Hag favours Martinez and Maguire centre-back for the first match. If you want a Man United defender, then I get Martinez for 4.5 mil, who will definitely start. It feels like he could be a hype pick at the moment, but let's see. Instead, I've gone for Burn, who's home to Southampton. Again, not guaranteed to start, much like JOÁO, but he should be much likelier. He's always been one of Howe's favourites, to the frustration of Newcastle fans at times. The pre-season series will start soon on this channel, tracking the player minutes, attacking returns, tactics, and all sorts, so make sure you don't miss out by subscribing. Finally, Vardiol, who will finish the season 7 mil plus, I think, if he can carry over last season's form. I threw together a table of all the defenders set to benefit most from the new BPS rule changes, and Vardiol's right up there. He would have received an additional 48 BPS last season, which had most likely bumped him a fair few extra points. Interestingly, 4.5 mil Konsa would have benefited the most last season with an extra 74 BPS. Let us know in the comments if you prefer Vardiol or an Arsenal defender, or neither. The opening fixtures are quite comparable, but at least in Vardiol's case he's much likely to chip in with a return, at the trade-off of a potentially weaker defence overall again. Moving on to the midfield, it's a 3-5-2 and the midfield is Palmer, Eze, Ødegaard, Gordon and Bailey. Let's talk Bailey first. It's been widely reported that Diaby's reached a full agreement with Al Ittihad and he's set to leave this window. For a lot of last season he and Bailey competed for the same spot, but by the end of the season it was Bailey's spot, having started 13 in the last 15 games he was available. Only 6.5 mil, 21 returns coming from 10 goals, 11 assists. He also offers a cheaper route into Villa's attack, given the option to skip Watkins, 2.5 mil cheaper as well. To play devil's advocate, he's still not necessarily nailed, and once the Champions League starts, he's the sort of player that could see his minutes managed. My favourite of all the 6.5 mil mids currently though. Ødegaard's surprisingly overlooked, 186 points last season, 212 the season before, 1.5 mil cheaper than Saka. And I won't be surprised if he takes the odd penalty still. I remember last season there was a game when Ødegaard was absolutely unplayable and Saka handed his penalty to him because you could see he was flowing in confidence that match. Ødegaard at 8.5 mil is 22.6 points per million, Saka at 10 mil is 21.8 points per million. Based on last season's output of course, but there could be very similar value over the season and that 1.5 mil goes a long way. Eze is the main man at Palace after Elise's departure. He should be on some set pieces, corners and penalties, and Palace might only improve with half a season and a full pre-season under Glasner's belt. I really like the look of his opening 4 fixtures, and if he disappoints, there is the option to move him on before that run of Man United, Everton and Liverpool from Gameweek 5. There's almost no 7mm mids, and he's by far the best at that price point. There's loads of 6.5mm on the other hand, and if one of them tear it up and they're 6.6mm or 6.7mm by Gameweek 4 or 5, then Eze is an easy route down to them without the worry of extra money needed. Palmer's crazy expensive, but he's one player I actually can't see myself going without. Put the Man City fixture Gameweek 1 aside, they hit a great run of games from Gameweek 2, Wolves, Palace, Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton and Forest. I don't think last season was a fluke or a massive overperformance. He's absolute class and he should be on course for another top season, even if they win less penalties, which is expected. 11 penalties was 2 more than any team last season. Arsenal and Newcastle had 9 each. Palmer was involved in exactly 50% of their goals while on the pitch last season. Gordon's another staple name from the Salah draft. Immense opening fixture, and the vast majority of his returns came in home fixtures last season. Hopefully something he can improve on this season, but even then he still managed 27 returns and 34 starts. He might have gotten 1 or 2 returns off the bench off the top of my head, but 7.5mm is a phenomenal price if he can get near to last season's output. That brings us to the front two, Isak and obviously Haaland. No Watkins is the sacrifice made here, but off the back of the DRB news, Bailey just might be enough at 6.5mm. Comparing Salah and Haaland, in Haaland's case, you're getting better points per match the last 2 seasons. You know what you're going to get in terms of tactics, whereas Liverpool are a bit of a question mark under a new manager, and obviously new tactics, etc. Salah's points output have dropped off the last couple of seasons as well. There's unmistakable upside if you go for Haaland instead, it's just how you find the 2.5mm. Let's not forget, a couple of seasons back, Haaland obliterated the Golden Boot record. He got 45 returns in 33 starts, and last season he got 35 returns in 29 starts. As always with the content, I reserve the right to change my mind. If Liverpool don't have a strong pre-season, I could sway back to this Haaland team. Onto the bench, which is Fabianski, Konsa, Greaves and Cannon. Greaves is totally nailed. Fabianski should be a backup in all likelihood, and Cannon will probably almost never play. Got a few cameos last season. So let's compare against the Salah draft. And I've made a couple of very minor changes like Winks in for Dendoncker. The 2 main differences are Saka over Odegaard and Watkins over Bailey. That's quite close, and I'm still leaning towards the Salah draft currently. Clearly a big shortfall in the Salah draft is no City attack. Again, you could go Saka to Foden, that's a simple fix, albeit then it's no Arsenal players. The Haaland draft's actually more rounded in terms of teams covered. It is great I think that they've priced him at 50mm, as it really does force some difficult decisions before the season's kicked off, and there's no easy way to reverse out early without a wildcard or a hit. These are the most owned players in the game currently. Watkins, Palmer and Isak are the 3 sitting over 50% owned. I read all your comments and there has been a lot of frustration at the pricing, but with Salah at 32.5% owned and Haaland 31.7% owned, they've got it absolutely perfect for me. Do leave a comment with your thoughts on Salah versus Haaland, or both, or neither. I've not been able to make a draft that's got both that I'm happy with. If I do manage it, I'll certainly do a video on it. Thanks as always for watching. FPL Focal Tattoo at 200,000 subscribers. Get involved. See you soon for the next one.